First, let's start with a blank sheet. I'm going to go through this quickly because you know how to do most of this by now. I'm going to rename my blank sheet as equities. Right click, type in equities. Then I'm going to label 3 columns. First one stocks, second one price, third one sector. Okay? Then what you do is you type in the stock ticker. Let me start off typing FB, which I know from Yahoo Finance is Facebook. You could find the tickers by just going to Google, type in the company that you're looking for and say, what is the stock ticker for this company? And you'll be able to find it there. I happen to know a bunch of these. That's why I'm just typing it in here. So FB I know is Facebook, so I type FB. Then you have to come up to the data tab, and under data tab, go to data types. You'll see the stock and geography. Now, I should note that this is only available for Office 365. If you don't have Office 365, you will not see the data types, and therefore you will not be able to pull in live stock data. You'll still be able to pull in historical data, and I'll show you how to do that later. But right now I'm showing you how to pull in live stock data, and this can only be done with Office 365. If you don't know what you have, all you have to do is go to File, then down to Account, and you'll be able to see what you have. So when you type in the ticker, you come up to stocks, click on the stock button, and the data selector will show up. That's if there's multiple. So there's multiple sort of FBs. I'll click on Facebook here. And there you go. Facebook now shows up. Let me pull this open a little bit. There we go. All right. So you notice when you select it, there's a little box that shows up here. So click on that box. And then that box has, this is where I'll select the price. So it pulls in the price. And then on that same box, I'm going to pull in the industry, which is here. So there you go. That's how you pull in the price and the sector for the stock that you type in, right? And if you click on the price, for example, you'll see that it's just a formula that says A2 dot price. So A2 being whatever is in column A, and then the price of it. And then for sector, it's A2 dot industry. So A2 being whatever's in column A and the industry, right? So I'm going to actually drag these all the way down to maybe, I don't know, 200. So that way, anytime I put something in column A, it will automatically populate column B and C. But I don't want there to be these errors when nothing's there. And we've talked about this before. We could just use a function. I've used the if statement. And then within the if statement, I've used the isError command. But right now, I'm just going to use the ifError command. This is sort of a combination of the if command and the isError command, right? So you just type ifError, open bracket. Then if this thing causes an error, then just leave it blank. So something like that. 2 quotes meaning blank. And then close your bracket. Now, when I just drag it down, I just double click on the corner there. See, the formulas are still there, but it's blank, right? And I'll do the same thing here, right? I'll put in the, actually, let me do it the other way. If isError. So here I'll do if, open bracket, then I'll do isError, open bracket. So if this column, this A2.industry gives me an error, then do nothing, blank, which is blank quotes, nothing in the middle. And if not, because you know with an if statement, there's an if this, then that, right? Then I'll just do A2 dot industry. So you can see the if error is easier to do, but I just want to show you both ways, okay? Hit enter. All the way down. There you go. So now I just need to come here and type in another ticker. Let's say Google, G-O-O-G. All right. Let me just click on the stock button. See, now it populates Google. It's price and the sector. I can do it again. Pinterest. No, that's not Pinterest. I don't know what P-I-N-D is. P-I-N-S. There you go. IBM. There you go. What else? Let's do one more. Amazon. There you go. Now let's do another one because so far I've been pulling in just software companies, one diversified retail. Let me pull in something from the banking sector. So Bank of America. There you go, something banking services. Now, as I've already mentioned, the feature that allows you to pull in live stock prices, which is this data types feature, is only available on Office 365. But you will be able to pull in historical stock prices using the from web feature in the data tab. And I'm just going to show you how to do that quickly. Now, at the taping of this video, only Office 365 allows you to pull in livestock data, but maybe by the time you watch this video, it might have changed. And I'll update the videos accordingly when things change. So I've created a new tab just to show you how to pull in historical prices. The new tab is here. Then you go to the data tab up at the top, go to From Web, then type in the URL of the historical tab where you want to get it from. So in my case, I want to get from Yahoo Finance. I want to get Microsoft historical data from Yahoo Finance. I happen to know this is the link for that. You click OK. And when you're pulling in cryptocurrency data, we'll be doing something similar. Okay, so it pulls in a bunch of different tables. I'll look through and see, okay, we have a table that is HTML table. We have a table that gives me the pricing summary. So it shows me a few different tables. I think I'll pull in this one. So I click in load. And so I've pulled in historical data for the stock Microsoft. So prices in December 29th, all the way back to August 11th. It gives me the open, the high, low, close price. So this is historical, it's not live, but you can do pretty good stuff with this as well. Okay, let's get back to the trade sheet that we're building. We've completed the equity section, pulling in the prices in the sector. Now let's create another tab for trade sheet. Let me rename this to trade sheet. Now let's label the trade sheet columns. This should be pretty easy for you guys to do. I've just pasted it in from my last one. Right, category, buy or sell, stock ticker, number of shares, entry price, investment, current price, stop price, dollar risk, profit, status, test price, and growth. Okay, the ones shaded in gray are the ones where I'm going to be putting formulas in, and then the ones that are in white are the ones that I will have to type something in. That's why I left it like that. Okay, so for buy and sell, I want it to be a drop down. So the way I'm going to do this is you come to the data tab, then come to this little icon here called data validation. Click on data validation. Then under data validation, come down to list. Then here I'll just type buy, sell. So I am basically saying I want it to be a drop down, an in cell drop down. And I want the variables in the drop down to be the buy and the sell. Okay, so I click OK. So now when I come here and I click this little box will show up. If I click on it, it will show me buy and sell. So let me just pull this down a little bit. Let me just pull it down to, let's pull it down a little further. So there you go. Okay. Then for stock ticker, this one, I'm going to do the same thing. Validation, lists. But now instead of typing it, I'm going to actually collect that information from the equities tab. So I come over here and select this column. Actually, let me start from here so I don't pick in the stock button. I'll just select these. All right. Close that. Click OK. All right. So there you go. So I'll do the same thing I did with the buy and sell. I'll just drag this down a little bit so that they all have the data validation. Number of shares will be free form, so I'll leave it as is. Entry price will be free form, so I will leave it as is. Same as stop price, test price. Percentage growth actually will not be, so I should actually have shaded this in gray. I've done buy, I've done stock ticker. I want to pull in the category every time I put in the right stock, right? So I'll just use the match. Remember the match command? So equals match. And then the lookup value would be the stock ticker. The lookup array would be column A in the equities command. And it will be an exact match. We've done all this before. That's why I'm going quickly. All right. Right now it's telling me nothing because I don't have a stock ticker in here, but let me throw one in there. Let's say this one. Okay. So it's telling me that Pinterest is in row 4. Then I'll use the index command to select the category. So index, you pick the array. This time I wanted to look in the category array, which is in column CC. I wanted to take the row number where it finds the equity. And I click OK. And there you go. So now, when I select an equity, it updates the category correctly. Okay. All right. Number of shares, that's simple. Let me just type in a number there. There's nothing we have to do there. The price, well, I have to also pull in the current price, right? And it's going to be the same way, right? We do a match. We do the lookup value, which is the stock ticker. We do the lookup array, which is in the equities tab. And then we do an exact. Right? So, Bank of America is in row 7, but I want to pull in the price. So this time I'll use the index. And this time the array will be the price. So that's BB. Close that. Now I'm pulling in the price. All right. So from the stock ticker, I pull in the category, I pull in the price into my trade sheet. Let's say I got into this trade at $25. So what is my investment? Well, my investment is the price times the number of shares. So I just do that one easily. This times this. Now I'll drag this down. Current price, I drag it down. Oh, it's giving me an error. What do I do? Remember, if error, then leave it blank. Well, now when I drag it down, good. This one, I don't want it to show me a 0. Can I use the if error here? Let's see if it works. Nope, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Well, because 0 is not an error. So I have to do something else. What I will do is, instead of if error, I will do an if statement. I'll say if is blank this column. So if that column is blank, or if that field is blank, then leave it blank. If not, do the multiplication D4 times E4. How about that? Let's see if that works. There you go. So that means when this is blank, it does nothing. But when it's not blank, it does a calculation, right? That's what I told it to do there. Okay? Oh, I forgot to drag this down. Let's drag this down here. At this stage, you guys should be pros. Anytime you see something, you should be able to stop the video, just quickly populate a bunch of this stuff because it should be really easy for you. Stop price, that's free form, we'll leave it. Profit, we can calculate the profit, which is equal to the current price minus the entry price times the number of shares. And we got the profit. Dollar risk will be how much you lose if the price falls down to your stop loss price. So that will simply be equal to the stop price minus the price you entered times the number of shares, right? So you invested $250, and if the price falls to 0, because there's nothing there right now, you've lost $250. And status, all right. I could set this one to be if it's text. Basically, if there's a text in the column B, then set it to open. If not, then leave it blank, right? So now it's open. If I take away that text, then it's blank. The growth percentage, that's simply equal to the profit divided by the investment. So 0.2, if I come up here and click on percentage, that's 20% growth. So I've quickly done it for you. You can make this really pretty. You've learned all the skills to make it pretty. For example, instead of minus looking like this, maybe I want my minus to always be color. So right click on it, go to format cells, go down to currency, And then select this one here. Click OK. And now anytime there's something that's minus, it will look like that. The final tab is a portfolio summary tab. So I just click over here, right click, rename portfolio summary. Then what you want to do is you want to just pull in every equity you have in the other tab. So I just do equal sign, come over here, select the first one, and then just drag it down so I have all the others, right? Let's drag it further down. And I have a bunch of zeros, which I don't want to show up when nothing's there. So once again, if statement, this time I'll do if this equals 0, then leave it blank. If not, then give me that command, right? Which is this one. Let's just drag that all the way down. There you go. So now it doesn't show when it's equal to 0, we'll just leave it blank. Okay? Add in the column headers, stock, long position, that's the total buys, short position, net position, and profit. Okay? So for the long position, what I want you to do is I want to know all the total number of buys for each of these. So let's say I had a second buy of the same Bank of America, and I bought 30 shares of it at the price of $20. I want to be able to come to portfolio summary, and my long position for Bank of America would say 40, right? And then the same thing if I had a bunch of others, right? So the way I'll do it is I'll use the SUMIF function equals SUMIF. Then the range would be what I'm searching by. So it would be the stock area, right? And then the criteria will be if it's equal to the ticker. So I'm basically saying if this ticker is equal to what you're seeing in the sum area, then what I want you to do now is I want you to sum whatever you see in the shares range, which is column D. So I don't have anything for Facebook, so let me drag this down. And there you go. Bank of America shows me 40. Okay? Let me just explain it to you one more time. SUMIF is basically saying do a sum if you see a certain criteria, right? So I'm saying SUMIF, then the range of the criteria. So the range I want you to look up is, look up first of all range C, so column C, that's where all the stock tickers are. So look in column C for A7. So look in column C for Bank of America. So anytime you see Bank of America, do a sum of things in column D, right? So the things in column D are the number of shares. So for example, if I had Alphabet in here, if I had Google, I had 100 shares of Google, $1,000 share or something like that. At $1,000 a share, let's say. Under portfolio summary, it would show me Google as 100 and it would show me Bank of America as 40. So the SUMIF is allowing me to go through, look for things that match this criteria, then sum on a different column. So look in column C for things that match A in this tab, and then do a sum in column D. So let's say I add another Bank of America, but this time it's a sell. I'm selling 40 shares at a price of 30. What's going to show up in portfolio summary? Well, it's showing me 80. So it's still showing me in the long position. The longs are buys. I don't want to see a sell in the buys. So what do I do now? Well, I got to add in another criteria in the SUMIF. So to do that, I have to do SUMIFs. So there's a different command, not SUMIF. SUMIF is just for one criteria. SUMIFs is for multiple. So for this one, you do SUMIFs, then you go the sum range. The sum range will be the share range, which is DD, The sum range will be the share range, which will be DD. Then you hit comma. Then the criteria range would be where the stock price is, which is CC. And then you type the criteria, which would be equal to stock price, right? But then you do the second criteria range. In this case, it will be column BB. And the criteria would be when it's equal to buy. Then you close it. Click OK. All right. So now when I drag this one down, see, it doesn't include the cell of Bank of America. It still just shows me 40 because it's looking at the criteria in column B as well before it does the add. So it's only adding things that have a ticker of Bank of America and in column B that are a buy. So the cell is not going to show up here. So if I come to short position and I type in exactly the same thing, but now instead of buy, I will do sell because I want to only add up the ones that are sales, right? And I drag this one down. You will see that it now includes the Bank of America sale that I have, right? And the net position will simply be the long position minus the short position. That's this minus that, right? And then you drag that down. The profit will be the same thing. I'm just going to do a sum if, but this time instead of summing up the shares, I'm going to sum up the profit, right? So I'll just do equals sum if. The range will be the same. I'm going to be looking up the tickers. Come back to portfolio summary. And the sum range will be, this time, the net profit. And then close it. Okay? Now I can drag that down. That's how I created the trade sheet. I pulled in stock data, created a trade sheet that allows you to analyze the stock data, and summarized everything for you. You'll be able to download the finalized template I showed you earlier. But before you do that, just go through this example. Use some of the skills you've already learned to make this cleaner, remove these errors in the bottom, and I'll see you in the next video.